Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Cinco de Mayhem Boxing Fight Night from Airtight Boxing. I'm Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside George the Buzzsaw Martinez, and we are here for 9 scheduled bouts on the evening, and we are about to have the introductions for our first bout of the evening.
Tonight, I said make some noise. Now we are talking. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick this off with the national anthem. Obviously, it's Cinco de Mayo weekend, so we will be singing the national anthem in Espanol. If everybody could be so kind to raise to your feet for the official Mexicano national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Lupe singing the national anthem.
El acero está prendido y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Sino patria, tus sienes de oliva, de la paz del arcángel divino, que en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios escribió. Mas si usare un extraño enemigo, profanar con su planta tu suelo, pienso patria querida del cielo, un soldado en cada hijo de Dios, un soldado en cada hijo de Dios, mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero, el prestar y el bidón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra.
Should we do it? Should we do the American one too? Yeah. Kind of. I think we might just skip it because they're ready to go. Stick with intermission. I think it'll look stupid. Yeah. Stick with intermission. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Lupe. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lupe. We appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get this boxing fight started. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Colorado Combative Sports Commission and Airtight Boxing live at Eclipse Event Center, we have our commissioners in attendance: Ryan Fraser, Amber Valdez, Roger Hudson, Jennifer DeGraff, and Adam Paul. Our doctor for the evening is Dr. Farbad Kati. Our doctor is also Alex Constantinides. And our director is Tony Cummings. Ladies and gentlemen, our ringside physician is Dr. Hector Brigoni. Our chief inspector for the evening is Oscar Martinez. Our referees, no other than the legendary Stephen Blair and Nathan Langmeyer. Our judges for the evening are Martha Tremblay, Janelle Mellish, and Tyrone Short. Our inspectors for tonight's bouts are Ron Anderson and Joe Lawson. Our timekeeper for the evening will be Dennis Romero. Ladies and gentlemen, the fighters are already in the ring. Are you ready for fight number 1 of the evening? Let's get this thing started. Ladies and gentlemen, already present in my red corner, make some noise for Javier Arroyo. All right. And fighting out of my blue corner, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Jose Valdez.
MC.
Yeah, got you. All right. The ring car girls are out the ring. The boxers are ready to fight. Referee, you ready? Gentlemen, red corner, blue corner, make my way to the center of the ring with instructions from referee Stephen Blake.
And we're just about underway with the first matchup of the evening. This is a heavyweight matchup in the professional ranks. You have in the blue corner Jose Valdez taking on Javier Arroyo coming out of the red corner. Arroyo with the black and white tassels, Valdez with the black and gold. George, a little bit interesting on the walkouts here. Valdez was out here for quite some time before they've actually started with the fight. So I'm just wondering how much he cooled down from being in the back to now.
Yeah, I mean both fighters came out here pretty early. Honestly, I mean they got their walkout song when they were already in the ring, you know. So
Right.
yeah, we'll see how much that actually plays a toll. At least both of them were out here remotely about the same time. You know, Blue Corner was out here a little bit longer, but they both got a little cool down for sure.
For heavyweights, so a fairly quick start so far. Some combinations exchanged back and forth between the two. Check, check.
Check 1 2 1 2. A little bit.
Still hear that.
Yeah, a little bit. Mine, it's lower, but you can definitely still hear it. Oi!
Strong uppercut.
Stumbling.
Sorry, folks, dealing with some technical difficulties here on the audio board, working through this. Midway through the second round here. Now I'm just having such crazy feedback in my headset.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. Bad. Combination from Valdez up against the ropes.
And Arroyo had Vasquez rocked here a little while ago. Stumbled him a little bit.
We got about a minute left here in this.
No, Arroyo definitely looking like the fresher fighter here and finishing the second round.
Man, I'm just impressed with the volume so far of these two heavyweights.
Yeah.
It's a lot of energy, and they're still throwing
They're
hard.
throwing hard. Oh, good body shot there by Arroyo.
Yeah, Valdez was definitely feeling it a little bit. We saw a couple of big breaths with the mouth wide open.
Yeah, took a step back after that too.
Good read by Arroyo, throwing that right hand too on the dip. But good left, or excuse me, right hook on the return from Valdez.
I would like Arroyo to go back to the body. I feel like he needs to soften him up in the body and then go back up to the head. He's doing too much head hunting right now. Valdez kind of started
And forth between these two.
Yeah, I would hate to be a judge for these fight, man. These
And it's not a sloppy brawl by
No,
any means, but
not at all.
it is a slobber knocker.
yes. And it's definitely not one-sided. Like they both have been hitting each other.
Absolutely.
Being interesting to see where if it goes to the decisions, who would get the win.
Around about a minute left in this final round here. We might see a whole lot of grit, heart, and heavy fists flying in this last minute.
Yeah.
Oh, that right hand.
Alright.
Oh, exchange on
Arroyo looking
both
for
sides.
that uppercut. He landed a few times, and now I think he's looking for that to be his finish. Valdez needs to use his jab more. I feel like he's rushing in and he's using short punches. I feel like if he can find his distance with the jab and use longer punches, because he's going right into that check hook and that uppercut that Arroyo's looking for as well. See, there goes that uppercut because he's coming in. He needs to find his range with his jab or angle off if he's going to go into those short punches.
And these guys are just so comfortable fighting in a phone booth, though,
Yeah.
too, George. Short hook with the left hand finds its mark for Valdez. Good hook to the
Yeah,
body.
Valdez is doing a great job attacking the body, man. I think that's going to slow down and potentially benefit him here if we get to the fourth round, which sounds like we will. Well,
And, you know, when it goes to the judges, like, it's anybody's fight.
yeah, and especially this close of a fight. It's, like I said, it has not been one-sided.
Yeah, no, like I say, right now, this is, it could be a very well, whoever can find that edge in this final round could be the person who seals the deal here.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I think Valdez might have benefited from those body shots that he was giving to Arroyo. You know, it might not look like much, but they eventually accumulate and add up. And when you go into deep waters here into the fourth round, that could be the maker. You know, just having those body shots play a toll on you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then on the flip side, what does Arroyo need to do to try to seal his victory here tonight?
Arroyo needs to attack the body, man. I feel like he's relying on that uppercut a lot, which he is landing. But if he can set it up, slow him down with some body shots, I think he would find success here in the fourth round.
And our fourth and final round.
He's just been headhunting, as you'll see, with the uppercut and headhunting. There we go. Now we're going to the body.
Quick volume right away, too, from the heavyweights in the fourth round. Don't get it twisted, folks. They're tired, but this is just pure grit and heart.
Still throwing, though. Yeah. Yeah, I love Valdez attacking the body, even when they get that close range. These little short hooks, again, might not seem like much, but they add up.
Certainly. Couple of short hooks exchanged from the clinch between the two. Valdez working the body off of the ropes.
I think Valdez should attack the body like he is, but then disengage and use his range, right? You're not going to knock... Well, I don't think Arroyo's going to get knocked out by these body shots. Again, yes, they do eventually add up, but at some point you got to start attacking the head as well.
Correct. And I mean, maybe you run a combination where you're starting low, you drop that guard level, and then rip that hook off the top, even if it's a short hook right in tight space.
Yes. Valdez seems to be throwing more volume here than Arroyo.
Oh, big right hook from the lead by Valdez. Valdez's corner saying to go. They think he's hurt. But Arroyo is swinging right through it.
Back with that uppercut that he's been looking for.
And he finds the uppercut.
Yeah. Oh, both check hooks, both people landing. Oh, another one. It's like 1 for 1 here.
Oh, trading haymakers right now. Man,
these check hooks are just going. 1 for 1 here. Great fight, though. Great fight. Very entertaining fight.
And a chin on both of them.
Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, check hooks by both fighters. And an overhand by Valdez. Wow. And Arroyo ate it. And he's still coming forward.
You might have to hit Arroyo's chin with a 2x4.
Yeah.
Another massive hook.
Oh, Arroyo needs to be careful as he's trying to pull out of range there. He's kind of leaving his chin exposed, and with the rope there, that's dangerous. You don't have that much room having ropes behind you, and you try to just get out of the range of a punch, especially coming into this fourth round. He has to be real cautious with that.
And a flurry from each to finish out this final round. Met with the clinch right at the very end.
Oh my God, and an overhand by Valdez to seal that fight.
Wow.
What a fight. What a fight that was.
I mean, that is anybody's guess. Again, once we go to the cards in that instance.
Yeah.
But we will have the ruling here momentarily. How do you folks see it from home? That's it's always an interesting thing when it's such a tightly contested bout in that instance, and especially in that fourth round. I would probably have to lean Valdez winning that fourth round, but it's not to say that Arroyo didn't have a lot of his own scoring exchanges in that sequence too, or in the round as well.
We don't know what the judges are seeing, I feel like judges have their own style of judging, some might like the volume, some might like the damage. We don't know what these judges are seeing, so it'll be real interesting to see what this decision is going to be. I would say, from my perspective, Valdez probably landed more shots, but I think Arroyo might have landed the more power shots up until that fourth.
Yeah, until that fourth, and especially within about the last minute of it, a couple of those hooks and the overhands that Valdez threw.
Yeah, I feel like Valdez did enough to steal the fourth, but when it comes to the first, second, and third, those were definitely up for grabs. So I can't even say who I would say the winner is in this bout.
There was a couple Pez dispenser style uppercuts that Arroyo was able to land.
And he stunned him in the second round. He wobbled him. He had a nice check hook and wobbled Valdez.
Looks like we will have our official decision here in just a second.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for these incredible warriors. That was quite the bang. One more time for them, ladies and gentlemen. Great job, guys. All right. Referee, you ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, the judges' scorecards are in. We have winner by unanimous decision. Ladies and gentlemen, in my blue corner, make some noise for Jose Valdez. Great job. Until next time. All right. Big shout out, AG. How you feeling, man? Big shout out to my MC AG. And my DJ, DJ Unique and DJ Kane in the building. What's happening? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the way to kick off fight number one. Y'all ready for fight number two tonight? That's what I'm talking about. Now the energy's where it needs to be. There we go. All right, well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for bout number two. Fighting out of my red corner, welcome to the ring, Anthony Reyna.
And making his way right now to the red corner, we have Anthony Reyna. This is an elimination bout at a contracted weight of 135 pounds. It is going to be 3 rounds, scheduled 2 minutes. Looks like Reyna brought a little bit of a crowd with him here tonight, escorted down to the ring here at the Eclipse Event Center. Check, check, microphone check.
Again. Well, here's starting the second fight.
And now making his way to Making his way to the blue corner, we have Alejandro Yaquez.
All right.
Yaquez is coming to the coming to the ring now. He will be accompanied by an entire entourage of folks along with him coming out here to represent at this Cinco de Mayhem. Test, test. Wait until they kill the house audio.
And also weighing in at 135 pounds, fighting out of the blue corner. Make some noise one more time for Alejandro Yaquez. Gentlemen, they're lined up in the center of the ring, ready to go. Pay attention to instructions from referee Langmeyer. Three rounds, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bang.
Starting our second bout here.
And you could anticipate that these
Bucks.
guys are going to be fast for sure.
Yeah, Young Bucks for sure.
And oh my God, what a furious flurry of exchanges going on so far right now between these two amateurs. Oh,
And they are swinging.
Yaquez with those hooks
Yeah.
is trying to finish it with every single
Sure.
punch. Reina's got to be careful when he goes to attack the body. He's dropping his right hand when he started to change levels, and he's gotten caught twice from a left hook.
Yeah, well, he's dropping whatever hand he's not throwing. That's what I've noticed with him. He's kind of leaning in. He's kind of getting sloppy now. And, you know, I've seen Reyes fight before, and he tends to just throw everything in the first round. You know, he needs to slow down, pick his shots, because, hey, this is the first round, you know?
Certainly. 10-second clacker here. Strong power jab by Yaquez. 1-2 finds the mark.
Looks like Anthony's just trying to recover right now. He's trying to survive to recover this round. Started off strong, and then towards the end, it kind of, I don't know if he emptied his tank too much uh, or if something landed that just made him more tired, but he slowed down definitely after the end of that. I mean, at the end of that round.
Certainly. I think we just see a difference in the tale of composure through some of the exchanges. Even though they were throwing a lot of volume, throwing with a lot of power, I just feel like we're seeing a little bit more calculation on the Yaquez side.
Yeah. Yeah, Jagas definitely came out kind of just reading his opponent, and once he found his pace, once he found his uh, rhythm per se, his openings, he started taking full advantage of it. Started picking Anthony apart later into that round. Let's see how both fighters recover here. I feel like it'll be a fast start. It's round 2.
Agreed. Yaquez holding the center.
Oh, yeah. Nice cross there by Anthony.
Thing is, when Rena's throwing so big, he's also leaving himself open for the counter so often.
Yeah.
Huge step through cross lands for Yaquez.
Big flurry from Yaquez. Still going. I think he needs to be a little bit more cautious and cut him off. Pick his shots after. Because he's chasing and he's throwing punches. If he cuts him off, he'll find a better success. He kind of did it there, trying to aim for that body.
Yeah, just a lot of erratic, explosive movement right now from Reyna.
A lot of feints. You have to do something with those feints, though. You know, you can't just throw them out there and not take advantage of them. Good cross there. Or jab, I mean, I'm sorry.
Left hand from Reyna finds its mark, but return fire from Yaquez. He's got to be careful when he's trying to roll step to his left when he keeps that hand down at the waist.
He's doing a good job going to the body and mixing up top, bottom. He just smells blood now. He's just head hunting, though. I think he needs to, again, slow it back down, go back to the body, pick his shots, cut him off. Don't try to play the game that Reyna's trying to play. Do your fight. Play your fight, you know?
That check left hook, man, that's filthy when you're having the hand drop on that side from Reyna each time.
And Reyna attacking the body, but he's dropping his hands. And a couple of late blows from both fighters.
Hard battle through 2 so far, but I think that we could very likely have a 2018 on the card so far for Yaquez.
Yeah, I would agree.
Third and final round. We will see how it unfolds here in the final 120 seconds. You know, I think at this point, right, you have to go for broke. You know, you've shown a lot of big motion so far, but you have to start trying to find the mark with the big motion, with those big punches.
Yeah, he's moving around too much and not taking advantage of it, you know. Same with the feints. He's throwing a lot of feints, but not doing nothing with them, you know. He has to give those feints, get a read off your opponent, and see what he's opening up there, right? If he's feigning and he has his guard up high, go for the body. If he's feigning and he has his guard down low, go for the head. But you have to start taking advantage of these movements.
Right.
Otherwise, you're wasting energy, you know? Oh, they come out hard. Reyna lets them
swing.
cross. Oh, they're just swinging. They don't even care at this point. I don't even think they look at what they're throwing. They're just throwing.
Chucking.
I could have sworn I saw both fighters with their eyes closed at one point, just straight throwing.
Hey, from an entertainment perspective,
Yeah, great.
that's as great as you could be. From a technical perspective, I'm sure each of their coaches are like, man, like let's find some composure here. But wow, from a entertainment value, man, these guys are giving you absolutely everything you could want. They are swinging hard and heavy at each other. Yaquez with the right hand catches the attention of Reyna. Big belly breath from each.
Reyna needs to be careful with those hands, man. He's keeping them down low. Yaquez is throwing everything, so he needs to be cautious when he's having his hands down low. Definitely see Reyna
A little bit of
being
blood
more
now.
fatigued.
Yeah.
You know, and that probably has to do a lot with why his hands are down, too. You know, he's starting to get real heavy with those arms.
The lead left hook has been something that Yaquez has kind of tailed off on in the last about round and a half. I would love to see him throw that again, especially when we're seeing the dip off to that side by Reyna. But Reyna is throwing through all the adversity right now.
Reyna got grits, man. He got grits. He's definitely not
so
giving
much
up.
heart.
And he's going straight forward. He's letting him know, hey, you're going to have to put me out.
short time in the round.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Fight.
What a third round.
That was a great fight.
I mean, hey,
Fight.
the first round was close. There was a lot of exchanges, so we could have seen maybe a little bit of a, there's a chance that we did see a split on the card for the first round between what the
Yeah.
judges might have saw. I think the third round, you could certainly make a case for Reina winning the third round.
Yeah.
They both have a case, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But that flurry from about that 50-second mark to about 20-second mark, there was a lot of volume that landed from the
Yeah.
Reina side that time.
For sure.
That was the most successful offensive exchange or sequence of the fight that he had.
That he had. For sure. 100%.
These are the moments where I'm so happy that I'm not sitting on the apron over here with a pen and paper in hand,
yeah.
having to write down a number.
Yeah. All right.
And we'll have our
Looks like
decision
we have a
here in
decision now.
just a moment.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, judges' scorecards are in one more time for these young warriors right here. Great job, gentlemen. Excellent job. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a winner by unanimous decision. Fighting out of my blue corner. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Alejandro. Yacer. Great job, guys. All right. DJ K, DJ K, you ready? We're going to go ahead and keep this thing going, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for fight number 3. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out my red corner. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Christian Escobedo.
And just like that, we're moving along to the third bout of the evening here at Cinco de Mayhem. Making his way to the red corner, we have Christian Escobedo. This is a professional boxing bout scheduled at a contracted weight of 168 pounds for 4 rounds and 3 minutes of action.
Hadley.
And now, making his way to the blue corner, we have Eric Hadley.
gentlemen, the fighters are in the ring. First, fighting out of the School of Boxing via Denver, Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, in my red corner, make some noise for Christian Escobedo. Next up, fighting out of my blue corner, he hails from Arkansas. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Showing his pro boxing debut at 168 pounds. Make some noise for Eric Hadley. All right, fighters, center of the ring, instructions from referee Stephen Blair. Your system alive right here to stand on the blue. And it's fortune. But it's such a look, take everybody.
Referee Stephen Belay, third man in. And in just a couple of seconds, we'll be underway with the first round of action. Escobedo, product of the School of Boxing. We have Hadley here from Arkansas.
He just seems so light on his feet. Super light.
Smooth.
Controlling the center. Trying to get a read on your opponent. Good job mixing it top to bottom, going body. Again, you can see the experience here. He's picking his shots, trying to get a good read. And that's for both fighters. Both fighters right now are just trying to get reads on each other. Different fighting styles here.
A little bit of a shell being worked here from blue corner side.
Hardly. Yeah, Harley's playing the outside a lot. He's going to have to come in and engage him at some point.
Escobedo's jab is like a piston.
Now, Harley seems he's just circling to the same side. That's also going to cause a problem for him. He needs to start mixing it up. If he wants to circle, and that's part of his game plan, he needs to start circling both ways.
And that big right cross right off of the rip as you're saying that, George.
Exactly. No. It looks
Draw
like
to
Escobedo's now
Escobedo.
he's getting the rhythm. It looks like he's just going to attack him at whatever corner he can find him at. Notice how he's not in the center anymore. He's actually pressuring forward and going straight to the corners.
That body work is filthy. We have our first knockdown of the evening. Christian Escobedo with a nasty hook to the body.
Oh,
It is all over. First round, TKO for Christian Escobedo.
right here. All right. And we got our first finish of the night. Coming in our third bout.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, we saw him out here before the fight, just warming up in the ring, and Escobedo was so smooth.
Oh, yeah. Even him, when he got into the cage, just the way he was warming up his feet, he looked so light. He was ready. You know, not to take anything away from Harley, but just the aura that he was presenting was like, I meant business.
If you're pulling up in some patent leather Mizunos,
Yeah.
you put some time in inside the squared circle.
For sure.
Had a couple of wars, now we finally have ourselves a finish here. So we're mixing it all up at Cinco de Mayhem. We'll have the official time here in just a moment. Great show of sportsmanship between our two pugilists.
Need it? We'll have it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for these fighters. Right on, DJ K. One more time, guys. Go ahead. All right. We have winner by TKO of round number 1, 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, in my red corner, make some noise for Cristian Escobedo.
And shout out to Christian Escobedo picking up that first round TKO here. I noticed that he has the Alvarado's Mexican fast food sponsor on his trunks. George, that is right up the street in my neighborhood. That is the first stop that I'm going on the way home.
Party going? Let's keep this thing going. We got a couple more fights before the intermission, so we're going to keep this thing going. DJ K, DJ E, you ready? Let's lock in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is bout number 4 of the evening. This is a heavyweight bout, ladies and gentlemen. 2-minute rounds, 3 rounds total. Ladies and gentlemen, first, fighting out of my red corner, make some noise for Martin Delgado.
And making his way to the red corner, we have Martin Delgado. This is an elimination bout in the heavyweight division, scheduled for 3 rounds at 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, next, fighting out of my blue corner. Welcome to the ring.
And now, making his way to the blue corner, we have Aaron Mendez. Am I having a case of deja vu, or they have the same walkout song?
God, I believe it was the same walkout song.
Like, I know we both get hit in the head,
Yeah,
but I'm not tripping out on this, right?
I don't think so. I
Maybe the DJ is just freestyling, doing his thing. Who knows?
could be.
Sounds like Mendez brought a little bit of a crowd with him here tonight.
Oh man,
That looks like a big athletic kid.
that is a big feller. It is heavyweights. Don't get me wrong, and
But there's heavyweights and then there's heavyweights.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's
like-
true heavyweights and then there's
that guy.
no big back heavyweights.
I would hate to be the referee in this bout.
Yeah, Mr. Langmeyer has his hands cut out for him. Very skilled, very experienced referee. Though in general, if you're not of that same equal stature, it's a tough thing to try to get in between those big boys and break them up.
Yeah.
Right in front of you. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, fighting out of my red corner, make some noise for Martin El Cuco Delgado. What was What was the nickname again?
Yo sé el gigante.
All right. And without further ado, his opponent fighting out of my blue corner. Make some noise for Eric Elegante Mendez. Gentlemen, they're lined up in the center of the ring with instructions from referee Langmeyer. If they
And a very fitting nickname here for Aaron Mendez, the Giant.
Glad you could understand it.
Martin coming out hot though.
Jab from Mendez.
Oh man.
That fastball might have ended the whole thing in one punch if it would have landed.
Delgado is
I mean, he's a dog
throwing.
trying to bring the fight.
He is throwing and landing.
Yeah, and everything is wide though, George. Everything is wide and looping. How long before Mendez starts to get a read on it, or does something big find its mark
Mendez
first?
has been shielding up. He needs to start getting his head up. He's shielding up with his head down, which is not allowing him to see what openings are there, or even acknowledging that his hands are coming out or looping punches. So he needs to be more technical with his defense so he can start seeing the opening. You see how his head's looking at the mat?
Left hook, find its mark. Another left hook from. Oh wow, no.
Delgado is putting it on him right now.
One four from Delgado lands. Mendez's corner asking for him to go to the body. Mendez just needs to throw something to get some respect back.
Oh my God. Oh, what? Two crosses back to back by Delgado.
If they come
And we
over
got
this way
blood
by the
coming
ropes,
out
I'm
of
hiding
Mendez.
behind Adam.
Yeah. So Delgado needs to be careful with that left hand. He's loading up and bringing it, but he's dropping it when he loads it.
Oh, he's throwing it from the ankle,
Yeah.
but he's landing.
No, yeah. Kudos to him.
We've got blood
Right.
drawn from the nose of Mendez. Strong first round for Delgado.
Yeah.
You know who didn't pay attention to there being a very big athletic man across from him in the cage, or in the ring, excuse me?
Who's that?
Martin Delgado.
Yeah, he did not care about it. He was here to fight, and he didn't care who was across the ring from him.
Yeah, I mean, we were marveled at the size and the the athletic stature of Mendez coming into this, but yeah, Delgado said, okay,
Yeah.
hold my beer.
Yeah. Exactly that.
That being said, what is the best route to chip your way back into this fight if you're Mendez?
Well, for starters, I think Mendez needs to be more technically sound with his defense. He's ducking his head down and looking at the mat. Therefore, you can't see what your opponent is doing when
Big
he's throwing.
1-4 right away to start the round again by Delgado.
Delgado's not giving Mendez a chance to throw, man. At all. He's in his face right away.
Mendez trying to go to the body now.
Yeah, Mendez needs to use that length. He needs to start measuring with his hands and finding him at the end of his punches. He's letting him come in. He needs to angle off, find his measure, and hit him with a cross or even start jabbing him up.
Because when Delgado goes, he's committing. He's walking forward.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's a slip.
That was definitely a slip. There's sweat. There's a lot of sweat right there in the blue corner. A lot of sweat.
But right back on the offense for Delgado.
Oh, and we got good hook by Mendez there. Oh, okay. Now we got Mendez opening up some offense now. And I'm going to back up again because holy shit.
Man, we almost had heavyweights in
Oh
our
my
lap.
God. Excuse my language, but I almost saw my life flash before my eyes.
Right hand for Mendez finds a spark and sends Delgado back up against the ropes. Delgado right back in the pocket.
Delgado's having a couple deep breaths now. Mendez finding his target now.
Much
Wow.
stronger second round for Mendez, though
Yeah, towards
very
that-
tightly contested.
Yeah, towards the end of the round, he definitely opened up his offense and found great success. He had him rocked a few times, had him hurt for sure.
120 seconds left to decide who picks up the victory here. George, I mean,
I think we're 1-1
we could be
potentially.
1-1. It all depends on, there was a strong start to the second round for Delgado.
Yeah.
Kind of after the slip, though, he slowed up.
Yeah,
Everything was a little bit more labored after that point.
I would agree. Mendez started picking his shots and opening up his offense, and I think he might have done enough to steal that second round, in my eyes.
Though he could still be down 2018. I feel
Yeah.
like there has to be a sense of urgency to the highest degree if you're Mendez in this round. You can't run the chance. You can't take the chance that you took that on the cards in the second. You have to go for broke and try to go out there
Fair
and find
enough.
a finish now.
Delgado right to it, right to work.
I like that approach, though. Don't let those long arms extend.
100%.
Get into his grill and fight in a phone
We
booth.
saw what happened when you let Mendez get at range.
That's when Mendez is doing his best work. Delgado isn't afraid to fight in the phone booth.
Good body work by Mendez. Going up top.
Left hand finds a mark right over the guard for Delgado.
Gonna back up for safety measures. Oh, great shot.
A big punch and the left hand jaw jacks Mendez.
Oh,
Mendez
maybe a
finds the
little
return
wobble there
shot
by Delgado.
to Delgado. Wow. They both hurt each other. Look of frustration on both sides. I don't know if Delgado thought that maybe he was getting a standing 8 count right there. He looked like he kind of like looked up in frustration for a second.
Oh man, the cameraman there is in danger now.
Watch out, Blondie. Combination of the body rips by Mendez. Got about 30 seconds left here in the final round. Left hand from Delgado. Ooh.
Oh, and once again, I am so glad we're on this side, that we don't have to be the judges of this bout. What a really close fight here.
Another strong left hand. Swing and a miss from Mendez. Just misses.
And we are right here in front of us in the action.
And that wraps it up there for this heavyweight bout of elimination action. I think that Delgado edged out the third round.
I don't know.
It's close. I mean, there's a case for each side, but I feel like a couple of the biggest scoring moments in terms of what made one guy look, maybe for lack of a better term, somewhat stunned, or what stopped them in their tracks. I think that there were two very definitive left hands that landed from Delgado.
Those crosses landed solid. Got Mendez' head all the way back.
But that's why we have the headset on and we don't have the pen and paper.
Yes, I agree. They got blood. Yeah, we got some blood over here. A good amount of blood, too.
Yeah, hey, we're in the splash zone all the time, but at least, fortunately, it didn't come this direction. Maybe I had the monitor blocking it, but I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I mean, I'm playing it safe. There was one time, I mean, my heart's still beating a little bit when I thought they were coming right over that ring.
Yeah, I don't
I
care
really
about
gotta
being in the
catch 'em.
splash zone. I would rather not be landed on by
Yeah,
500 pounds of human.
yeah. My God, their leg is the size of me.
Yes,
But not to say the least, that was a very entertaining fight.
absolutely. And it looks like we have a decision officially here on to our MC of the evening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for these Warriors. Great job, gentlemen. Great job. The judges' scorecards are in. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have winner by split decision. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of my red corner, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Martin and Cuco Delgado. Great job, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Martin, you want to do a quick interview real quick? Go ahead. AD, ask some questions. Go for it. Already know. Oscar, you want to do intermission now? For the rest of the fights, we're going to give you a quick 15-minute intermission. Use the restroom, grab your drinks, meet us back here in 15. DJ K, take me out.
And folks, that does it for the undercard here at Cinco de Mayhem for Airtight Boxing from the Eclipse Event Center. It's going to be about a quick 15 intermission. Go grab yourself a snack, hit some vitamins, grab yourself a Holy, whatever it is that you need to get locked in for the main card. I'm Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside George the Buzzsaw Martinez. We'll see you back in a hot 15.
G. Big shout out to my DJs in the back, DJ Kane and DJ Unique. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinco de Mayhem right here at Eclipse Event Center. Are you ready for bout number 5 of the evening? All right. Well, let's get these fighters to the ring without further ado. Fighting out of my red corner, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Luis Ramirez.
And making his way to the red corner, we have Luis Ramirez. Welcome back for the main card here at Airtight Boxing, coming to you live from the Eclipse Event Center here in beautiful Denver, Colorado. I'm Jordan Kurtz alongside George the Buzzsaw Martinez. Opening up this main card here tonight, we have an elimination bout scheduled at 885 pounds for 3 rounds of 2-minute action.
corner is in the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of my blue corner, make some noise for Carlos de la Rosa.
Carlos de la Rosa making his way to the blue corner here tonight.
We're at. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for bout number 5 of the evening. This is a 185-pound elimination bout. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, in my red corner, make some noise for Luis Ramirez. And his opponent, fighting out of my blue corner, also weighing in at 185 pounds, make some noise for Carlos Garito de la Rosa. Gentlemen, make your way to the center of the ring with instructions from referee Stephen Blair.
Referee Steve Lay, a third man in the squared circle tonight. And first bout of the main card underway.
Ramirez looking for the body early.
We've got an open stance matchup too here so far.
Yeah, De La Rosa's looking to use his length, kind of do straight punches.
Flurry of exchange so far between the two guys here. You have De La Rosa in the red, or excuse me, in the white trunks from the blue corner, excuse me. Mushmouth here.
Okay, scratch everything. Let's start over. We got the red corner of Luis Ramirez in the black shorts. And then we have De La Rosa in the white.
That always throws me off because they announce it or they walk in the opposite order.
Yeah.
You know, usually you go blue corner then red, but you know, hey.
We're in the regional scene, so it happens.
It be like that sometimes, as the kids say. Couple of long punches from De La Rosa.
Yeah, De La Rosa's actually doing a really good job keeping him in that distance. Not giving him a chance to come in. Ramirez wants to come in dirty box, and he's just standing at the end of the punches.
De La Rosa is the longer fighter. I mean, him working behind those long punches, I feel like it's certainly to his advantage because, you know, you're seeing he wants to find his way inside to find that heavy left hand. That cross from Luis, though, is stiff when it lands.
Yeah, and he does a good job getting out of range. If he could just counter off of that. Oy, oh my God, did we almost have a total knockout, man? Imagine the odds of that. They connected at the same time, right on the chin.
Yeah, a little bit of encouragement for each guy finishing off the round there. Through 2 minutes of action, I am glad that we're not writing it down. I've said it many a time so far tonight. But, I think that going forward in the fight, I would like to see De La Rosa continue to work long.
Yes.
If you have that much of a reach advantage, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice by trying to fight in a phone booth against a guy who wants to be there.
Yes. Ramirez wants to be in the booth with him. And I think what Ramirez needs to do coming out this round is he does a good job slipping for most of the time. He just needs to come in and find his range to start attacking in that phone booth.
Exchange of punches between the two so far. De La Rosa holding the center.
But you see, Luis doing a good job moving out of the range of the punches. He just needs to close the distance and angle off to create an angle so he can back or throw them shots.
I like that scoop right there though from De La Rosa.
Yeah, no, De La Rosa's doing a good job. Oh, what? Oh my God!
Wow!
At that
Couple of
point,
big power punches and hooks land from Luis.
oh, Luis smells blood, and he is connecting.
That left hand has found
He
its
needs
mark
to
a
push
couple
him
of
on
times.
that corner. He can't let him get back into range. See how he made his way back to the center? Luis needs to make him go back into a corner. Keep that pressure on him.
And a couple of punches land now from De La Rosa. Left cross to the body lands for Luis.
Good awareness by De La Rosa. He makes sure he's not getting in that corner anymore after that last exchange. He does a good job of moving around and working his way back to the center. Little
Correct.
by little, he just beats him off of the angle. If you watch his footwork, he's beating him off on that angle just so he can come in and back to the center.
He's certainly beating him off there. A couple of big crosses from both guys are fired across the ring. De La Rosa looking to settle into a bit of a rhythm now. Tremendous second round.
Yeah, that's a really hard round to score.
I mean, first half was certainly Luis.
Oh, yeah.
Second half, you start to have a case for De La Rosa. Though, I mean, a couple of those very stiff shots that really kind of sent De La Rosa back, it's hard to overcome those. But it's also, at the end of the day, fighting to a large extent is pageantry.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jordan.
And there's a certain level of subjectivity when it comes to that pageantry, if you will, when you have three judges who are sitting around the ring and it's their subjective interpretation of what they're seeing from your display.
Yeah, that's also another thing to take into consideration. The different angles that we have these judges at. Some judges don't get to see what other judges are seeing,
Correct.
Oh, getting into that third and final round here. De La Rosa kind of gives me Bad Bunny vibes, man.
I can see it now that you say it.
His build, the hair.
Left cross again, though, from Luis, man. When that thing hits, it catches the attention immediately.
Yeah, but he needs to keep pressuring forward. He can't. He lands and then he comes back into the range that De La Rosa wants.
Correct. Too big of a reset is what you're saying.
Yes.
Good work going to the body for De La Rosa. And now De La Rosa has Luis back in the corner. Luis able to swing his way out.
Oh, nice overhand there by Luis. And here we go, flurry. Both fighters throwing. Luis needs to get off that corner.
De La Rosa is landing with some furious punches right
Standing
now.
those punches.
Couple of strong shots to the body as well as to the face. Under a minute left in this final round.
Oh. Both fighters landing here.
And Luis has started to throw strictly power shots. Earlier, when everything was working, he was mixing in some jabs and he was changing speeds. That's what made it so effective. Now he's kind of loading up on everything, and it's just giving just enough of a tell for De La Rosa.
Yeah, he's not breaking the pattern. He's throwing his punches at the same speed. There's no really different rhythm break there.
Good
It's
head
just making
movement,
it more
though.
predicted. Oh.
With that left hand right there at the
Found
very end
moment
for
in
De La
the last
Rosa.
punch, yep.
Hey,
Another
that's
great fight, though.
great
Another
fight.
great
I mean,
fight.
tremendous matchmaking for that contest.
Yeah.
Judges are tallying up the scorecards right now as we speak. How did you folks see it from home? It's been a great night of fights here over at the Eclipse Event Center. Lots of very highly competitive matchups. I mean, we've had just one finish so far.
Yeah, and usually when we're this far in and we only have one finish, we're almost like it's a long night. But these fights have actually been so entertaining that it's making the time go by,
It's
and I'm not
fine.
even. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, when they're barn burners like that, it just melts the clock away.
Yeah.
And having those final tallies to our in-ring announcer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the judges' scorecards are in one more time for both of these warriors. Great job, gentlemen. All right. We do have a winner by split decision. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of my red corner, make some noise for Luis the Reina Ramirez. Great job, fighters. Congratulations. Guys, want to get a quick pick? Go for it. Congratulations one more time for Luis and Elena Ramirez. Congratulations. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for bout number 6. This is a special bout because this bout constitutes Our Lady representation for the evening. Can I hear you make some noise for the ladies? Hey, G, I don't think they hear me. I think I need you to back me up on this one. All right. Great job, DJ K. DJ K, you ready? Let's get it. First, lady fighting out of my red corner. Welcome to the ring, Paula De Leon.
And making her way to the red corner, we have Paula De Leon. This is our lone ladies fight of the evening here, Georgie. This is scheduled at 155 pounds for 3 rounds of 2-minute action in the elimination ranks. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when we see, at least in our MMA world, when it's amateur ladies fights, George, those are some of the most crazy knockdown, drag about type of brawls where they are going to throw from start to finish.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. You don't know what to expect from a girl fight, man. It could be a full-on brawl, or it could be just a quick flurry.
Coming to the ring, fighting out of my blue corner, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Eminem Jimenez.
And making her way to the blue corner, we have Emily Jimenez. Referee Nathan Langmeyer going to be the third man in for this ladies' bout of the evening. Now, I know you're taking a fancy to this song over here. Yo, ladies and gentlemen from home, if you don't know, my man, Georgie the Buzzsaw Martinez, don't let the exterior fool you. Don't let the combat sports record fool you. He is as basic as it gets when the white girl music comes on. He's over here rocking out, singing
Oh,
Since You
it's
Been
true.
Gone. He is loving it.
It's true. Give me my rock. Give me my white girl music. If you see me on the road, it's probably 9 out of 10 times I'm probably rocking to some white girl music.
Oh, something about a vibe, I guess. That's what they say.
About the evening. One more time, fighting out of my red corner, make some noise for Viola, the Lioness Leon. And her opponent, fighting out of my blue corner. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Emily Jimenez. Ladies, follow instructions from referee Langmeyer. All right, ladies, on a good thing now. Take some time. Let's work right. Round number one, ladies. Let's bang.
It is ready.
They were both ready. They both wanted to take that bare knuckle toe the line.
Yeah.
A fast pace, just like we said, George. They are going at it, scrapping like cats and dogs right away.
Holy moly.
And just a flurry. I mean, 3 yards and a cloud of dust.
Commentate because they're just throwing like crazy right now. Too many shots.
De Leon is throwing a lot of heat, but she is also throwing, though, with her chin wide open in the air.
Yeah. And Jimenez being the shorter fighter, she needs to suck that chin and look for overhands up top.
Correct. Especially with that chin leaning back that way. I mean, if it's way up there like that, you basically throw the overhand or you go spear to the body and throw the overhand off of that, and it's going to find the mark.
Yeah, for sure.
Just missed right there. But something to be said about the pressure from De Leon. I don't know how sustainable this pace is for the full term of the fight, but it's entertaining.
It is. Yeah, that chin is really up there. Jimenez could just take advantage of that. She already has her mouthpiece coming down, though. Well, to be fair, I feel like that's not one of those good mouths. I don't think it's even a molded one to her teeth. So amateurs will let them know, maybe give them some advice about that mouthpiece. That makes a huge difference, just having the right equipment. Mouthpiece is where you're breathing, especially when you start getting tired. And if you don't have a good one, it makes it really hard to start getting into this after the first round.
Well, and it's optics too to judges, right? Because if it looks like you're breathing heavy out of your mouth, sometimes that little bit of a subconscious tell could be enough in a tight round to sway that 10 versus the 9.
Yeah, most definitely. And
what a furious pace between the two in this first round. I mean, hard to score, when we don't see what landed versus what didn't, but I would certainly have to say that De Leon probably edges out the first.
Yeah, I think De Leon threw a lot more volume there.
If you're Coach Stephen Paprocki in the blue corner, what are you offering for your fighter?
I'm telling her to slow down. Don't fight her, fight yours. Start looking for the body and start looking for your overhand. Right? Start mixing it up. You can't get into the flurry with her because you guys are both just gonna end up gassing yourselves. Let her gas herself out, and you take advantage of that.
How are you beating pressure?
Are you beating pressure from
It's been
Evelyn?
pure pressure from De Leon so far. What are you trying to do
You
to
gotta
stop
angle
him?
off. You gotta angle off. You gotta make him respect you, but you gotta angle off. You can't apply pressure when people are turning. You have to readjust.
Two big punches from each fighter to start the round, but De Leon rushes the action across the ring.
Ramirez needs to start not loading her punches up so much. She's throwing from the hip. She stays more technical sound. She would probably not get as tired.
I also feel like there's opportunity for body work for Emmeline,
Yeah, no, 100%.
especially because when De Leon is coming in, she's headhunting for the most part. She's throwing everything high. Read the pressure, duck, hit your duck hip, whatever, and hit the angle and find the body in the process. Maybe touch the floating rib as you're angling off. Big right hand right there, though, from De Leon. De Leon has some minutes back it up.
Oh, we got some blood drawn from De Leon now, though. Oh.
Both exchange right hands. Another right hand from Jimenez
Oh.
lands.
Ramirez is landing her shots. She needs to go now, though. She can't be laying back while she has her rock like that. Taking deep breaths here, though. Both fighters are tired.
Just as we said, that was such an unsustainable pace.
Yeah. It's very common, and especially in the amateur scene, they don't take advantage of the body, and we're seeing that here. A lot of head hunting, but if one of these fighters can start finding some body shots, that's going to help. Almost an uppercut from hell there from Ramirez.
Another right hand from Jimenez lands.
Jimenez is finding that target now. Now she's landing that overhand and acknowledging that she's landing. She needs to keep that up, but also use it, have a setup for it, not just throwing it naked.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that we're sitting at 19-19 a clip right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think she did enough to steal that second round from De Leon.
That leaves 120 seconds to decide it all.
Going into this final round.
The third and final round to settle it all here at Cinco de Mayhem. Stiff left jab right away and a right hand from Jimenez.
There it is. Oh, Ramirez is throwing that overhand.
Oh, and she's jumping into it.
God. She has her on the back foot right now.
What grit on display from both of these ladies.
Wow. Oh, I thought that overhand was going to land again.
Big belly press from each fighter so far. Just over 1 minute in this final round. And another right hand from Jimenez.
Yeah, Jimenez needs to not let off the gas. She's landing and she's doing a good job. She's just gassing herself out.
I mean, I feel like a spear 7 is there all day for
Oh,
Jimenez
yeah.
if she wanted to go jab to the body and then come with the overhand.
100%.
But Leona's still fighting hard, and she's walking her down, despite getting Pez dispensered like 4 times already this round.
Jimenez is definitely taking control of this round, though.
I mean, you could say that she has control in terms of positioning inside of the ring, but she is getting hit way harder than she is landing. I mean, we're getting close, like,
she's
we're close to a 10-8.
Oh, she thinks it's a count. She thought it was a count there.
Thought her hand got stuck in the ropes for a second. Wow, a couple of big power shots landing, and then it's just a flurry right away to end the round. And a throw up all the way into that final right hand.
Wow. I think Jimenez did enough to steal that 3rd round.
Man, I think that Jimenez took that fight in the 3rd round.
I think so.
I mean, again,
One
you
more round,
you
I
can
feel
make
like
a
she could have
case.
finished
You
it.
when you're talking about there was some control for sure for Leon. However, if we're talking about damage, and if we're talking about who had the more thunderous and reaction drawing offense, I believe that it's certainly a blue corner here.
Yes, yeah.
I think Emmeline took the 3rd round personally.
For sure. For sure.
But we will see what the judges have to say here momentarily. We forecasted it when they were walking out, and they delivered upon expectations.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could, in a lot of those, throw technique out the window. That was a fight. That wasn't a boxing match. That was an absolute. That was a fight.
For sure. And, both fighters, I believe, are actually their debut here for boxing. So, a lot of learning, but it's the experience, They got out there, and, not many people can say they came on the ring and fought. They did that, and, it's all to learn up from here, win or lose.
Absolutely. And a little play to the crowd by Emmeline here. Again, pageantry, showmanship.
One more time for these lady warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Give them a round of applause. Great job. Great job, ladies. All right. The judges' scorecards are in. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a split decision winner. Ladies and gentlemen, our winner, fighting out of our red corner, make some noise for Paula. All right. Good job, ladies. That was a close one. Good job. Come on. All right. Paula, you got a lot of fans here. You want to say something to them? Go for it.
Close, you're close.
The reason. Great job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you, AT. Appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got one more before the code and the main event of the evening. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and keep this thing going. DJ K, DJ DD, you ready? All right, let's get busy, baby. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of my red corner, it's time for bout number 7 of the evening. Make some noise for Juan Escobedo.
And making his way to the red corner for a pro boxing bout scheduled at 185 pounds for 4 rounds and 3 minutes of action, we have Juan Escobedo. George, I mean, sometimes when you have a fight like that, it's hard to be the two that are following it. Because the crowd sometimes, after they have such a crazy adrenaline rush, and when they pop that heavy for a fight like that, sometimes you almost need a couple of minutes to kind of like sit yourself back in and settle right back to the action.
Yeah, true.
We've seen Juan Escobedo, though, many a times here in the Airtight boxing ring, and hey, this guy is tough as an old leather boot, and he comes to scrap.
Yeah.
He's also in the
Always.
corner for a teammate earlier on the night.
Yeah. He never puts a boring fight. He's always out here to fight, throw hands, no matter what.
And now, making his way to the blue corner, we have Johnny De La Cruz. And certainly playing to the crowd with the attire walking out, the song, all the things combined, totally in the festive atmosphere here. Cornerman in full red, white, and green.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 185 boxing bout. Without further ado, fighting out of School of Boxing Gym, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, in my red corner, Juan Escobedo. And his opponent, fighting out of Stick and Move Boxing Gym, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, in my blue corner, make some noise for Johnny De La Cruz. Gentlemen, you're lined up in the center of the ring. Pay attention to instructions from referee Stephen Blair.
Referee Stephen Blay, a third man in there tonight. In De La Cruz's corner, he's got Ramiro Figueroa, which Figueroa is arguably one of the top rising prospects of the Colorado boxing scene, both within the traditional boxing realm as well as bare knuckle. No time wasted at all here for Escobedo.
Yeah, Escobedo coming hot, coming off. Didn't even have a feeling out process. He just went straight to it.
Not at all.
He is connecting, though.
And De La Cruz, with a diverse combat sports background, also a decorated wrestler at his time. It's a slip. Open stance right now. Long two from Escobedo. And a combination, but a slight crash from De La Cruz.
Yeah, I think De La Cruz needs to be more active. Unless his plan is here to try to gas him out first round, maybe come out stronger in the second.
Big swing and a miss right there from Escobedo.
Yeah, Escobedo's definitely throwing the whole time in this round.
It's also worth noting, I mean, that's a lot of heat that Escobedo's thrown with so far early that he was not able to put De La Cruz away with.
Yeah.
Does that factor in as time grows along? Good cross to the body by Escobedo. Escobedo's pressure is a problem for De La Cruz.
Yeah.
A little bit of measure now here. Long 1-2 from De La Cruz just misses.
Good uppercut
Just
there.
misses. Fast start for Escobedo in the round. Is that pace something that he can sustain for the continuation of this fight? That's it's a lot of output, but the pressure is certainly creating issues for De La Cruz.
Yeah, and I think Escobedo does do a good job keeping that pace from what I've seen in the previous fights. I'm just not sure if De La Cruz knows that, and that could be potential part of his game plan where he's gonna try to wait it out. But he can't wait too long. He's been letting Escobedo just set the pace here, and he needs to start setting his own pace, fighting his own fight here.
Agreed. Now, on the flip side, if you're Escobedo, do you just keep with the same attack, or are you trying to mix things up a little bit as the fight goes on?
No, I think he's doing a good job. His pressure is obviously a problem, and hey, if it's working, why change it?
He's also using some good head feints in the process. Both fighters land across at the same time.
Oh, there with that check hook, Escobedo.
Big right hand, though, from De La Cruz. Great use of the clinch there by Escobedo to get himself off of the ropes. Couple big right hands from De La Cruz.
And Escobedo's not Escobedo, but De La Cruz is actually throwing a lot more offense now,
Yes.
So I'm actually pretty curious to find out if that was part of the game plan. Something tells me it is. But we'll see if he can take advantage of it now.
Great hook to the body there. One, 1-2 from De La Cruz.
De La Cruz is dropping his his lead hand when he throws. Needs to be cautious with that. That lead hand, no matter what he throws, just comes down every single time.
The jab just keeps pawing out there from Escobedo. Now long hook. Punches and bunches up against the ropes right now for De La Cruz.
But Escobedo lands a hook that De La Cruz respected and backed up, and now we're right back to the center.
Yeah, and I feel like there could be a nasty left hook land from Escobedo at some point in the next couple of rounds, maybe sooner than later. You're starting to see the right hand from De La Cruz dip slowly as these exchanges continue.
Yes.
But a big breath right there from Escobedo.
Cross there by De La Cruz.
There's the left hook.
Yeah. Escobedo doing a good job picking his shots.
Left cross. Straight down the pipe for Escobedo. Right hook lands for De La Cruz. Start to see a little bit of a mouse develop under the left eye of Escobedo. And an entertaining night of fights here at the Eclipse Event Center.
Couldn't agree more with you.
If you're
Great
in
job
the
on the matchups.
if you're in the blue corner for with De La Cruz right now, what are you offering as we go into these final 2 rounds of the fight here?
You know, I think Escobedo might be slowing down, so I would definitely tell De La Cruz to keep pressure, keep him on his back foot. You know, try to corner him into one of these corners as you put pressure, and find your shots there. You know, pick your shots. Don't just throw wild.
Stiff left cross from Escobedo lands.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Escobedo will keep throwing on the 12th round if they had to. You know, he just he's a gritty fighter, very gritty fighter.
But I would like to see him hit an angle, though, instead of going straight back when the pressure comes from De La Cruz. Like that, right there. Angle off and then find your shot.
Oh, good shots. Worth exchanging.
One and 2 from De La Cruz. Uppercut from Escobedo is met with a lead hook from De La Cruz. Roughly 90 seconds left in the round here. Both fighters exchange and land with all punches of the combination. Sometimes, too, when you see that little shake off from Escobedo, that usually means that you had one that landed and caught your attention, right?
Yeah.
Like that's your showmanship trying to say, nah, you didn't get me. But really, in all reality, it's yeah, you got me.
It was enough to acknowledge it, so there has to be something there that stuck out to you, you know?
Correct. Approaching upon the 30-second mark here. Now, also on the Escobedo side, that rear guard, that left hand is starting to drop.
Yeah. Yeah, both fighters can show some sign of being tired, you know?
Oh, certainly. Fatigue is setting in. A little bit more labored in the punches now, but both guys are still absolutely going for it.
Escobedo just trying to bully him, pushing him into the corner, trying to pick some shots off there.
I can't blame him for the approach.
No, not at all. I think that's a good style for his fighting style, you know, a good approach.
Looks like we might have a slight cut over the left eye, or excuse me, over the right eye of Escobedo. You see how Cutman's going to be able to put that back together here. Good look on that eye. You guys, brother offered him words of encouragement coming into this round here. Now, George, I mean, it's been a very evenly matched fight so far. It's going to be tough to see. I mean, it's a war of attrition essentially at this stage.
And again, we go back to the same debate. What are these judges looking for? This is a very hard fight to judge.
Now, if we're looking at a damage factor, well, certainly that's a chalk in the column for De La Rosa.
De La Cruz.
De La Cruz, excuse me.
I feel like these fighters are getting too carried away going for the head. They need to go right back to that body and slow them down, especially coming to that fourth round. There's clear signs that both fighters are getting tired. Those body shots will drain your tank so fast.
And one thing that both guys have sort of deviated off of is working off of their feints.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot more just go.
Yeah.
They're getting big action, but they're not reacting
they're
appropriately, as you talked about earlier. A couple of big right hands, though, from De La Cruz. Figueroa calling for the uppercut. There's the uppercut right there. Escobedo's tired. Left hook lands.
Oh, that hook by Escobedo looked like it might have rocked.
It looked like it staggered his leg a little bit, right? It looked like it, but I mean, here's De La Cruz standing in the pocket, firing with heat.
Yep. Sure are. Right in front of us.
Lands a couple of stiff shots to the head of Escobedo. Escobedo is able to get back to the center off of the break. 45 seconds left. Oh, both guys with a hard cross. You could just hear the slap of the leather across their face.
Neither fighter slowing down, both still throwing just as heavy as they were.
Oh, the fighting spirit certainly can't be questioned for either of these two pugilists. Man, another war.
Yeah.
Another fight, very well matched, goes to the cards, but a phenomenally entertaining contest. Now, George, if you were to lean in a particular direction, what do you see? Well, who would you, on your unofficial scorecard, be given the honors to for this fight?
I kind of have it 2-2.
That's the tough thing with a 4-round fight, right?
Yeah. I have the first two going to Escobedo, and then I have De La Cruz with the final two. But they're all very close rounds,
Highly competitive.
Yeah.
Judges having those scores tallied up. We've had a couple of split decisions thus far on the night. We
Yeah.
may very well see another one for this contest.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Not in the slightest. Folks, we've got 2 more bouts on the schedule for you here tonight. Definitely some deliberation going on over at the score table. And looks like we have a decision rendered. Our entering announcer making his way into the squared circle.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for these guys. Great job, fighters. All right. They fought a hard 4 rounds. The judges' scorecards are in. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a winner by majority decision. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of my blue corner, make some noise for Johnny Cruz. Great job, fighters.
And congratulations to Johnny De La Cruz picking up the victory here tonight at Cinco de Mayhem Airtight Boxing.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your co-main and your main event. We've got 2 more boxing fights left. Ladies and gentlemen, are you feeling the energy tonight? Let's take this thing all the way up. AG, you ready? All right, tell them what we're doing. All right. Ready?
He said either count.
Stand right here.
Give them their mic.
Can you see the dawn's early light? Oh, I saw bright. Send bright star
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Terrell Matheny. Great job. You did that, brother. Good job. All right. That boy had to hit some notes. Go ahead. Gotta love it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your co-main event of the evening. Are you ready for your co-main event? I don't think they're ready. They've been screaming all night. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the co-main event of the evening? There we go. All right. DJ Kane, DJ Unique, let's go ahead and bring out our red corner without further ado. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him very well. Make some noise for Lucio Zuniga.
And making his way to the red corner, we have Lucio Zuniga.
Stop fighting out of my blue corner. Make some noise for William Davis. What's the nickname again?
El Gallo de Oro.
Gallo de Oro. That's right. I remember. Does he have a nickname?
Hey, George, I'll tell you this. Earlier in the night, we saw Zuniga out here in his warm up, and he was locked in. He is all business. And you want to talk about someone who is buttery smooth with absolutely everything? I think that's what we're about to see from Lucio.
Yeah, for sure. You can see his game right now. Locked in.
To the co-main event of the evening, we have a 140-pound professional boxing bout. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, fighting out of my red corner, Lucio and his opponents. No other fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in also at 140 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for William Two-Quid Davis. Gentlemen, make your way to the center of the ring for instructions from referee Langmeyer.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to go clean match. They make me a little time. Face that little time.
And referee Langmeyer, third man in for this co-main event of the evening. This is a 140-pound pro boxing bout scheduled for 3-minute rounds.
These guys look fast already. I mean, we have Williams with the nickname Too Quick, but Lucero also very fast.
Lucio just marching him down up against the rope so far. I think if Zuniga goes back to the body, that might have been an opportunity there when we saw Davis go down to him really quick.
I
They
couldn't tell if he tripped or if he took a knee.
I
from
couldn't
that
tell
body
either.
shot.
A timekeeper on the side started at
Counting,
10
yeah, I
seconds,
saw that.
so it's hard to tell, right? But there we go. Hook to the body with a follow-up with the cross up top. Another shot down low. That work to the body, like we say for Lucio, man, that's a problem to be reckoned with here. Back up for the standing 8 here. And Lucio, I mean, stiff right hand, one punch off of the break there, sits his opponent down once again. Davis back to his feet. But, man, you see blood in the water right now, and we're about to see a finish.
Back to that body, Lucero. Right back to him.
And that is all over. First round, TKO by body shot for Lucio Zuniga.
You know, we talked about it all night, how that body work can do a lot. That's a perfect display of what type of damage a body shot can cause.
Certainly, and I mean, hey, did the kid break a sweat?
Not at all.
I mean, he brought a crowd here, obviously showing out very heavily for the hometown for this Cinco de Mayhem boxing card for Airtight. That's about as top tier of a night in the office that he could possibly ask for, right? I mean, the only thing that beats that is maybe a one-hitter quitter.
Yeah. Yeah, not much that can't be topped with that.
We'll get the official time on the stoppage here momentarily. And the official time here in just a second. Looks like we have our MC making his way to the squared circle. Great show of sportsmanship between the two fighters. And everything with Zuniga over there is fresh. Got the black and gold kit, and his cornerman has those gator boots.
Yeah.
It's of round number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, in my red corner, make some noise for Lucio Zuniga. All right. That was your co-main event, man. What you got to say to your fans?
Hey, I appreciate everybody. Muchas gracias a todos que vinieron. ¡Arriba México, cabrones!
Right on, Cameron. You got something to say? Come on, coach.
Baby, you know we coming back. That's the signature quickness.
Big shout out to John Cameron, one of the best trainers of all time. You got anything else to say to your man?
Hey, just I appreciate everybody. Thank you for coming out. It was a long training camp, 5 months. Last fight got canceled. We're ready for the next. Let's get it going, baby.
Right on. Can't wait to see you next time, man. Good job. Congratulations. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I know everybody is winding down, but it is that time. It is time for the main event of the evening. DJs, spin something fresh for me so we can get everybody's energy up for this main event. Turn it up. We need to turn this thing into a party. I can feel the energy dying down. Turn that thing up. Come on. Turn me up in the mic too, about that time. All right, cut it. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the main event of the evening? Thank you all for coming out to Cinco de Mayhem, brought to you by Airtight Boxing, live right here at Eclipse Event Center. Big shout out to our sponsors over at IBAC, Purple Pass, Magnificent Event Center, and of course, live right here at Eclipse and everybody watching live on pay-per-view. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for the main event. Can I get you guys to make noise one more time? Let's get this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 145-pound professional boxing bout. You know him all too well. He is the champion. Fighting out of the red corner, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Gino Sador.
And making his way to the red corner, we have Gino, the Russian concussion Shvedov. Gino won a belt in his last fight here with Airtight. Now, it is worth mentioning this is up a weight class, so this is not officially a defense per Gino and my eyes conversation prior to the fight, but he's looking forward to the challenge and going up to welterweight. And he did a big camp with Ebenezer, one of the top boxing prospects again out of the Denver area. Traveled out to California, spent time in Vegas doing this camp, so he is dialed in and well prepared to take on this challenge.
Oh yeah, Gino will not say no to a fight. He's always game to fight. He'll take the challenge and accept that he embraces challenges.
Absolutely. Gino, always one of the top ticket sellers, show in and show out here for Airtight Boxing. And the Russian concussion in his bag on his walkout, you gotta love to see it. Relishing in the moment of a main event fight.
His opponent is no other. Fighting out of the blue corner, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Antonio Herrera.
Making his way to the blue corner, we have Antonio Herrera. This is a 145-pound pro boxing bout scheduled for 4 rounds at 3 minutes worth of action. George, that's also a major benefit of Gino being in your main event is you hold so much of the crowd for the rest of the night, too.
For sure.
Now, there is going to be a dimensions difference here. Antonio Herrera is the longer fighter, so I'm interested to see how Gino's going to be able to figure out his ways inside to find his angles, find his entries, and be able to score here.
Yeah, Gino's going to have to use a lot of fancy footwork to work his way inside and land those power shots that he's known for.
Is your main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the final bout? Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot hear you. Are you ready for the final bout? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get busy boxing. First, fighting out of my red corner, weighing at 145 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him by Cena the Wrestling Concussion. And his opponent, fighting out of Killer P Boxing Gym in my blue corner. Make some noise for his opponent, Antonio Herrera. Gentlemen, pay attention to instructions from referee Stephen Blair.
And just like that, we are on to the main event of the evening. Just seconds away from action getting underway. Referee Steve Belay, the third man in the mix. Fast start from the Russian concussion.
That overhand right away. Two of them right back to back.
Couple of jabs on the return fire. Another moniker for Gino at one point in time that he fancied himself was Manos Fuegos.
Yeah. I recall that. And here we are now.
We're working through the jab.
Gino doing a good job with that overhand. I feel like we could go back to that jab to the body to then land that overhand, which he just did, but now we just got to close it off. Distance. Oh,
couple of strong body shots from Herrera.
I think Antonio has the right approach, though. Those body shots, use him at range. When he comes in, he attacks the body.
Big right overhand from Gino lands. Left hand from Gino lands. Working to the body now with a strong jab from Gino. Herrera throws the jab. Shvedov just slips out of the way. Gino's done a good job so far, though, of changing levels and working to the body. But I think that he could also benefit from possibly using some more feints in the process.
Yeah, he is doing a good job. He goes straight forward, though, and lands that overhand, which is working for him. But if he starts mixing up with doing some angles, maybe coming in and attacking the body with some hooks and uppercuts, I feel like he could find more success there, too. Right now, he's just playing he's doing one move, which is rushing him forward and going for that overhand. Antonio's eventually going to catch on to that, and, if he reads it, he's going to just cut that angle and maybe catch with a check hook. So Gino needs to start mixing things up a little bit more here.
That 1-3, though, from Gino caught the attention of Herrera. Herrera returns fire, long cross. Catches Gino on the end of the punch. Is that just redness, or do we have a little bit of blood drawn from Herrera's nose?
Gino looked like he was going to throw that overhand and kind of took it back. And I actually thought that would have landed if he would have committed to that.
That's intel, though, that he could take to the bank that might be there as the fight continues along.
And again, he is landing that overhand. I just feel like we got to start mixing things up here, have different moves, go off to the angle, because right now he's just down the middle. And, at these high-level fighters, they start recognizing patterns. You don't want to make it obvious and easy for your opponent to realize this is the only pattern that I have to acknowledge,
But it's also worth recognizing that Gino has moved up in a weight class here, so sometimes that power doesn't necessarily translate the same way that it did in his previous weight class, where we saw him have a couple of consecutive knockouts.
Yes.
And if that's the case, we have to rely a little bit more on crafty setups. in trap setting and so on and
Yes.
so forth to create the shots,
For
right?
sure.
Just because the thunderous blow isn't going to be there. Gino drawing big reactions from Herrera now.
Yeah. He's definitely biting on a lot of these feints here.
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
beautiful right
nice
hand from Gino.
overhand.
Had him stunned up against the ropes. I mean, you could argue that the ropes is what kept him up.
Yeah.
Another big
Man,
right hand
man.
and a stumble from Herrera.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Herrera has recovered quite yet from those blows.
Oh, and credit to him. He's swinging through it. And Gino is just marching him down, trying to find that mark. Another overhand right.
That
Finds
overhand is definitely finding a home. And Herrera's still on wobbly feet here.
still wobbly. Gino just can't get reckless, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Smart move if Gino continues to work to the body. Don't evade, go to the body. Yes, you heard
Yeah.
Ebenezer call for the body right there.
Then that body is the one that is setting up that overhand that has caught him a few times here in this round.
And another time again, left hook to the body, right overhand has been money for Shvedov
he
in this
gets
fight.
Herrera to shield up from that body shot, which opens up that overhand every single time.
Power cross from Shvedov.
Oh,
Big
good
uppercut though from
by
Herrera. That caught the attention of Shvedov. Shvedov blinks it off for a second and is right back to work. Right hand from Shvedov lands.
Gino's leaping into these punches.
About to say he is jumping
He
into that
has
overhand.
to be careful with that. If he meets a punch of Herrera, it's not going to feel good. And, and that's a risk that you take. Sure, your punches might land a little harder, but you're also, if you get caught coming in, you're doing them a favor.
Absolutely, especially because you don't have points of contact on the mat.
Right. There's no stopping. Once you go, you're going. And Herrera kind of swinging with his hands down. I don't know if he's tired or if that's just his style from being so long.
Short time left in the round. A lot of mouth breathing from Herrera, though.
Yeah, Gino definitely put a statement on that round to take. A couple overhands, had him rocked.
Correct. Hey, and credit to referee Belay. There was if this were an amateur contest, that might have been a standing 8 at one point.
Yeah, for sure.
But in the professional ranks, given it the professional courtesy, he didn't go all the way down. I mean, we had one right in front of us here that you could argue that the ropes were what kept him up, but on the same side,
2 or 3 of those that held him up, and
right. Credit to Herrera, though. I mean, the kid's a dog. He's super tough, and he's just working his way through this adversity right now.
And don't count him out the fight. He is still throwing. He's still landing.
Oh, absolutely. He's still very much in this fight. Now, if you're Gino, and maybe, I mean, you got to settle in a little bit more. You're getting a little bit overzealous by some of those leaps into your punches. You got to settle yourself a little bit and sit.
You got to stand that ground and land that overhand. There will be more power on that overhand if you sit down.
Uppercut to the body from Herrera. Strong right hand from Herrera.
And this is what Herrera needs to do. He needs to keep him at range at the end of his punches. Here comes with that overhand again, Gino. Oh, good body work there by Herrera. .
Shvedov trying to hold the center here, but Herrera firing off. It's like a little bit of fatigue starting to set in here for Shvedov.
But Herrera also not being too technical with those punches. As he throws them, he drops them before he brings them to his face. If Gino can go read that, that overhand would be money. There it is.
His left hook, right overhand. And then switch it up from the opposite side there for Shvedov. .90 seconds in the round.
Good cross there by Herrera. Oh. And Herrera firing that 1-2 down the pipe, trying to keep Gino at the end of his punches. But Gino trying to close off the distance, keeping him on those ropes, looking for his overhand here. Herrera looking to attack the body, which is a very smart approach, trying to slow Gino down.
Shvedov returns fire at the body.
Definitely a more competitive round here from both fighters.
A little bit of a low ball from Herrera there. Now, it has been more competitive, but I will also note, though, George, that a lot of the punches that are being thrown from Herrera, he's throwing a lot off of the back foot.
Yeah.
So sometimes, too, how does that get evaluated again by judges, whether, when you're throwing from the back foot, moving backwards, as opposed to Gino pressing forward while throwing and also landing?
Correct. And that's Gino's style, as he's a pressure forward fighter, And, I myself consider a counter fighter, so I catch myself a lot being on that back foot. But the thing is, you got to angle off. You can't just let him keep pressuring you. Eventually you have to cut an angle, be offensive, so it doesn't look like a one-sided fight.
Good flurry at the end for Herrera. Very tightly contested round between the two there. I think that was the best offensive round that we've seen from Herrera so far on the fight. And we're getting into this final portion here. I mean, this is the point where you got to make a choice, right? You have to make the choice. This is the final round. Leave it all out there and go win a fight.
Yeah, you can't leave this one up to the judges, in my opinion. It could be anyone's fight.
Sense of urgency on the start here for Shvedov. Couple of strong jabs for Shvedov.
Good head movement by Gino there.
Big swing and a miss for Shvedov on the overhand. His corner calling for the body.
Gino needs to cut him off. This pressuring forward, Herrera's trying to he just finds his range out of it. If he cuts him off or puts him in that corner, Gino can start landing more shots. See, right there, he needs to keep that pressure, keep him on that corner.
Couple of jabs from Herrera. Shvedov able to circle off the ropes. Cross to the body, hook to the head for Shvedov lands. And a rally off of the ropes for Herrera. .90 seconds left. Jab from Shvedov. Both fighters are standing toe-to-toe in the center of the ring tonight.
Got a little uppercut there by Gino.
Shvedov's corner calling for the jab, saying he doesn't like the jab when you're landing it.
Check hook there by Gino. Good job attacking that body as well.
Counter hook from Herrera.
Good 1-2 by Gino. Herrera. Oh, good body shot there
from
by
Herrera.
Herrera. Oh, Gino felt that one. I don't know if you saw the face.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you see that right hand down by the
Yeah,
ribs, protecting the liver for
definitely.
sure.
Yeah, Gino
Short
did not
time in the
like
round.
that body shot.
And strong left overhand from the lead side finishes the fight there for Shvedov as regulation ends for this contest. You know, now that we go to the cards, it'll be interesting to see how this gets tallied up. I mean, that was a competitive fight. I think that definitely first two rounds, Gino took, I think, handedly. However, the second two, much more competitive. I would lean in Herrera's direction for the third. And then I would have to say that a slight edge to Shvedov in the fourth and final round.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Even though, you know, we've said this a time and time over and over that we don't really know anything when it comes to the judges
Yeah,
scoring.
and that's why we're over here.
That's why we have the headset. We'll have our official decision here in just a second. Herrera thinks he got it up, did enough to get the job done, as well as Shvedov.
And one more time for these incredible fighters. Great job, gentlemen. All right. I know everybody's wanting to get out of here. We do have the judges' scorecards in. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision winner. Gino the Russian Concussion. Great fight, fighters. Great job. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Gino, hold up. Let me know when you're ready. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, congratulations to the Russian Concussion, Gino Shvedov, picking up that victory here tonight in the main event at Airtight Boxing, Cinco de Mayhem.
Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all she wrote. On behalf of Airtight Boxing and right here at the Eclipse Event Center, good night.
And folks, that wraps it up for us here at Airtight Boxing, Cinco de Mayhem Boxing Night at the Eclipse Event Center in Denver, Colorado. We had Gino the Russian Concussion Shvedov pulling off that victory in the main event, a tightly contested bout. George, I mean, what a night of action. We had a lot of decisions, but that night flew through because it was so entertaining.
Yeah, very competitive fights, very well-matched fights. One of the best cards I've been at.
Absolutely. Tremendous matchmaking for this night here at Airtight Boxing, Cinco de Mayhem. But with that all being said, want to give a shout out to Steve Messis of Airtight Boxing and want to shout out to our CJJC media crew for holding it down for us here on the production side of things. I'm Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside George the Buzzsaw Martinez, and we will see you next